video, YouTube, all this stuff. It's going better than I expected, to be honest. A few hundred people watch me stuff. For a stupid, big, bearded git like me, that's pretty good going, I think. It's nice when some people give a crap about what you've got to say. So, more of a regular old guitar-related video this time. I thought I would talk a little bit about, I've mentioned before, my brain goes on tangents and things, and one of the interesting things I think about playing guitar is what makes you play the way that you play. And one of these points I'm going to make in this, I've got 4, for me, reasons as to why when I pick up a guitar and I play, or I get on stage and I play, more so the latter. So I play more on stage than I do at home. But why my playing comes out the way that it does and why it sounds the way that it does. And one of them is an incredibly obvious answer, which is why that's going to go first, even though for a change I did actually make some notes. But I say notes, I wrote 4 lines of each thing. But that's going to be number 1, even though on the list it's actually number 2. And that would be your influences. So everything you've heard, everything that you've been exposed to, and everything that you like, obviously is going to impact your guitar playing in a serious fashion. So for me, that would be the big kind of jumble of a lot of the reasons that I play like I do in that sense would be Guthrie Govan, Eddie Van Halen, Nuno Bettencourt, Zach Wilde, Zal Clementson from the Alex Harvey Band was a very early one, an interesting one for me, as I saw them at Chef Arena supporting possibly Deep Purple, I think, and it was an eye-opening experience. It was very, very, very cool, and all that stuff. So influences being a very major thing as to why you play guitar the way that you do. It's very much why I play the way that I do. Now, the other 3 things I want to talk about are very different in this respect. So, for a start, the main reason I play the way that I do, one of the main reasons, is because I play guitar the way that I do. I try to play what I would want to hear if I was in the audience. That is a very, very, very big thing for me. So, for example, Guthrie Govan talks a lot about hearing guitar in your head. And some people look at him strange for this, and some people, I've seen comments on YouTube videos of people just going, this guy's absolutely on another level for thinking like this. And I don't understand why that's weird, because to me, everything is very much like what I want to hear. My tone that I like, I hear that in my head, and I want to get that to come out of my fingers and out of, my amp on stage. And even when I play in house, obviously. But also, so when I imagine myself playing guitar in my head, and I also think about what I would like to hear if I was on the receiving end, being hit by, music in the ears in a live situation, or even in a recorded situation, whatever, what type of stuff would I want to hear? That's what I want to try and play. I do play very much for myself. In that respect, I'm not trying to please the audience with my guitar playing. I just enjoy playing, and I want to hear what I want to hear, and that's why I play like that. So that's 2. Number 3. This is a very strange one, and possibly controversial, maybe. And people may, I don't know what people may think of this, but one of the things that I absolutely detest hearing is I don't really like it when I can hear thought process when playing. This may sound a bit strange, but it's true. I very much, for example, I especially would hate to hear myself thinking when I'm playing. very much so. But it's not particularly a thing I enjoy when I watch other players, and for me that can come down to anything like, for example, um, I don't know, when you can kind of just hear that somebody's preparing to do something that they think is going to wow people. When there's something, when it just seems very like you can hear that they've thought out what they're playing. They're playing something, and they're kind of like, you can kind of hear it kind of going to, now it's going to be this scale, and now it's going to be this, and you can almost kind of tell what's coming. I very much try my best to kind of play like it's a stream of consciousness thing. So whatever is kind of being beamed into my head from wherever all the nonsense that I play comes from, that's what I like. I like it to be very spur of the moment. And fair enough, there might be, I've obviously spent a lot of time on a lot of techniques and stuff like that, but I very much would like the thought process to at least be more in the background, maybe for some players. I think that hearing it kind of coming down on a wire, on a radio signal or something like that, where it's just kind of being, almost feels like it's being beamed in from the ether or whatever. That's more my thing, and that's what I try and do. All of my knowledge is in there. All of that stuff is kind of, I guess the best way of putting it is running in the background like the operating system on a computer, and until you control or deleting task manager comes up, you never really see what a computer's doing. And that's what I kind of like my theory stuff and all my knowledge and all that kind of stuff to work like. Whereas the playing, I like that to just kind of come, and all the other stuff just kind of feed into it as and when it needs to, but without me really kind of calling upon. I'm not summoning upon the heart now, summon the Mixolydian mode. I don't really think like that. And so, yeah, that's another reason why I play how I do. And lastly, and this is an interesting one, and I asked permission from our lass to talk about this, so I thank you, Natalie, my love. I'm a really big fan of when people will get lost in music when they're listening, and particularly one of the things that I absolutely adore. Alice comes to pretty damn much every gig and never gets bored, bless her, but she always enjoys it. And she, when it comes to especially a lot of the guitar solos, but a few big ones in the band's set, will shut her eyes when the solo starts, and she's lost in her, and it takes her somewhere. So the short form is I try and play things and try and make that a natural thing to play things that will make our lass shut her eyes and get lost in the music. And that just goes for everybody. On top of that, if I can have that effect on our lass, then I would like to have that effect on a lot of the audience, and make them just disappear somewhere wherever my guitar playing takes them. And I think, well, that's just a nice goal, really, to have. Yeah, speaking of our lass, so this glorious guitar is one of my favourite guitars I've ever owned in my life. This is a 2022 TV yellow, even though it's not quite TV yellow. Wood grain, if you can kind of see it, it's kind of blue coloured, which I think is amazing. It's a Gibson 61 standard SG thing from 2022. Put my usual DiMarzios in there. It's actually had a headstock repair, but it's insanely good. It came like that. I bought it like this. Well, our lass purchased it for my birthday last year. And it's absolutely killer. I call this my bad back guitar. So when my custom and standard have done their work on me for a weekend, this is kind of a bit of a lifesaver for that. But I absolutely adore this thing. I think I've actually got this. I'm just going to confirm. I still have this in standard from teaching yesterday, which is probably why I've noticed my finger ends are getting a bit hammered, because these have got 1149s on. So but it's a bit of a good workout, I suppose. But no, this guitar is absolutely killer. We picked it up from Richstone Music last year, and I absolutely love this thing. So I've been playing it more and more often recently, and yeah, it's just phenomenal. It just sounds wicked. So I just like to give a big shout out to Alas for buying me this thing, because it's incredible and I love it. Thank you for listening. May do another one sooner than next Thursday. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. Yeah, I'm going to play a little bit more guitar and see you guys next time. Thank you. Leave me some comments. Why do you play the way that you play? I'm interested.